Hello and welcome.
Well, hello there, everybody. For a change, my cam isn't working again. God's sake. Okay, here we are. No, not even. Come on. Oh, there we are. Hey, welcome everybody. Hope you guys are all doing great. As always, my camera isn't doing what it's supposed to do, but oh well, doesn't matter too much, I guess. We're gonna be watching the new Assetto Corsa Amigos race tonight. It's going to be Oulton Park, so staying local for this one tonight. It's going to be a 60-minute race and see what the conditions will have in store for us. I can't wait for this one. See, there's been quite a few entry withdrawals now, and unlock isn't showing. There's a couple more, so that's a little bit of a shame, but it is what it is. Yeah, I can't wait for this one personally. I just saw that the server was reset, so I think we should be able to get in soon. But how are you guys? How is everybody doing? You guys doing as good as I am? I'm very much excited, very much looking forward to this one. I do still have a little bit of a cold. It's going to be 1.5 minutes until we get underway. So let me just really quickly make sure that I have everything working. Awesome sim racing. I forgot to sync that one. Oh god, I'm an idiot. And then as well as race control, of course, so I can actually spectate. Well, I want to spectate because I was playing around with the automatic camera feature, and it does work well from time to time, but maybe not in the way that I expected it to. It definitely still focuses a little bit too much on the active spectator, so in that sense, you know, I am not a huge fan yet. But a lot of filters still, so it's gonna do its thing, and I hope that I can get it done in time. Right now it's going really quick. Okay, so I think we should manage. But yeah, anyway, so I got the chat open now. Obviously, it doesn't show on my overlay, but I'm still reading along. So if you have anything you want to point out, then go ahead. Be great. Come on, load in. Alright, so the particular reason I'm really excited for this one is actually quite simple. The reason is that this race, if I'm not mistaken, is on the bumpy track, and that will cause chaos sometimes. And Oulton Park was one of my favorites as well. I did it in regular Assetto Corsa. I did the VRC cars, and I think they were absolutely amazing. So yeah, Can't wait for this one personally. It's gonna start now, so let's hop right into it. It's green, so I have to click on drive. Turn up the sound a little bit. And we're off. 16, yeah, I did. Okay, perfect. Perfect, now I just gotta find a way to tab out. Yeah, okay, I'm set up. We have 23 drivers on the grid today in the pro split. Don't know how many we have in the amateur split, but unfortunately no stream for them today. Quite unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'm excited for this one here. Well, I'm gonna be curious to see how most of the drivers are gonna be showing themselves today on a track that might not be too familiar for everyone. That's the main reason why I believe that this might be a little bit tricky. It's obviously a track that we haven't really done before. It's not very wide, it's quite bumpy. Track surface definitely is far from optimal in some of the corners as well. So I'm expecting a lot of experienced drivers to struggle a little bit. Aaron Holloway, guess who's back? I guess it must be you, and indeed I'm right. Still standing in the pit for the time being though. Got a 30-minute qualifying session coming up. So lots of time to get your time lap in. And of course, I'm curious to see what the lap times are going to be, because I remember in the VRC cars we weren't doing that quick of times. In those very heavy front-wheel drive understeery cars, especially going on the throttle was a little bit painful, and without ABS also tricky as well, because some of the time you locked them up and then that was just the end of your race immediately. We're on Adam Xaplar. Also the elevation changes here just makes for such a beautiful circuit. The only thing that I don't know about this track is how many races they actually do here, because I know that the British GT comes here once, I believe, and I think that's about it. It's a pretty popular circuit. I know it's also included in the TCR UK, BTCC. Speaking of BTCC, it's going to be a race that I'm going to be watching for the first time IRL. Keep forgetting you stream on the Amigos channel for this. Yeah, it's sad, honestly, because now I don't get any money from the advertisements anymore. So, yeah, thank you, Chris. No, but in all seriousness, I'm happy with it. I think it's definitely another step in making this league a little bit better. Although I would have loved to see my ad ref obviously go up a little bit. I barely stream on my own channel now, which kind of sucks, but it's unfortunate really. I don't really have the time or energy to do so really. I've been pretty fully booked. James Frankland is the driver currently watching. First time's coming in. This man to come out on top, at least for now. If you gamble. Now, he's a driver that we obviously know as a very quick one. We see Frederik T. Sleen as well. Doesn't seem like his livery is loading, unfortunately. I might have time to do a quick restart afterwards, so then we'll see. I hope it loaded for everybody else though, so I hope it's just on my end. And there are lots of similar liveries, of course. For example, the Lego one from Jason Pooley is still here. That's honestly one of my favorites. It's kind of grown on me. I'm not a big Lego guy, I gotta admit. I think I've kind of gone over that, but I mean, it's fine. I think they kind of get used to this. Here's Clive Bixby. Taking it across the line for the first time and immediately sets it out on top here. 133.35, so even this track doesn't seem to catch him off. Frankland right behind, also getting some quicker times than now. P11 for him, slowest so far though. Here's Chris Tedder, that's a name we all know by now. Can he once again prove himself? He actually said in the Discord that, you know, he's been practicing less and less and therefore a little bit slower than he usually is. The 1:43.7 is definitely a solid lap time. So I'm not too bad about it. Ooh, that's a little bit ugly. Okay, Chris. Well, that happened. It's fine. Here's Ryan O'Sullivan then, going down the hill and up the hill to go over the start finish line. Currently P8 with a 1:33.6 and shaves a, well, 0.3 of a second off. Improve that time a little bit more here. Lots of drivers coming in now. Dudley's one of them. And Dudley driving in the 3CD car, of course. Currently 10th fastest, a second off the pace. Now Pickles goes 11th fastest. More drivers getting their lap times in now. Makes me think that this will be a busy one on track. Because it isn't the longest of tracks. So it's all about finding a little space where you can then work on getting some good laps in. And Matthew Gamble will be next. Really third fastest, and looks like that will stay that way. Here's the current pole sitter then. Moving on this lap one more time. No, not quite this time around. Well, that was too optimistic, I guess. Makes sense though in the end. There's Michael Syme. His out lap just started his first time lap now. Let's stay with him a little bit longer here. See how he does. Driver headed out of the pit lane. That's David Hill. But I think he's fine getting out of the way. Obviously, Michael Syme's on a hot lap, so where is David Hill gonna let him by, or is he gonna hold? Is he just gonna hold the throttle down, then stay ahead here? Michael Syme is quick, but so obviously is the Scotsman as well. Both drivers should be very comfortable around these domestic UK tracks. At least that's what I think. I don't know about you, but I really feel like a second home to me. Can you imagine how it feels for you, one? You can just see how bumpy that track is. You're gonna be careful as well. Those curbs are definitely pretty high. You can see Michael Syme got him off a little bit there. A little bit of wheel spin, but he's gonna be fine in the end. Then you go downhill. That's a very bumpy turn, by the way, so you have to make sure that you brake properly. I think it goes for the entirety of the track, though. Seems to make it out quite well. Now can go on the throttle. A little bit wide, perhaps. Now up the hill onto the next corner. Michael Syme looks to be a fast one here, but definitely not flawless. So even if the time's gonna be good, I think it can improve a little bit here. Need to make sure that you don't go too wide. Definitely seems to be carrying a lot of pace through that turn. Too comfortable? Yes, that's for sure. Number 666 drivers with the dirt deliveries, and that's a lap of Oulton Park. Now let's see what he gets rewarded with. It's gonna be a 16th time, 3 seconds off the pace. I was not ready for that. I was expecting it to be a little bit quicker, but for now it's fine. Here's Van Brakstad making his way across, no improvement, so we're just gonna be waiting. It's all fine for now. Now it's number 108 coming in. That is Jason Pooley, of course. Look at that group right behind him as well. Quite a big one, and actually driving really close to each other. So curious what that's gonna bring. Jason Pooley. It's like he invalidated this lap, and now you see the blue flags coming in. Dan Pickles makes his way past. Don't know where that was exactly. Going off throttle there a little bit. Dan Pickles, at least, finishing his fastest lap, improves his position, but only by 1. So he's gonna have to do it again. Stetter. P6, well that's a good improvement. And I'm curious to see if we're going to get any times below the 1:43 today. I think we might though, the qualifying's still very long. That can definitely happen. Here we see Christian Romano. The AF course livery starts his timed lap just now. What times can he actually produce? We're going to keep an eye out on him. It's 19 out of 25 drivers now have already sent some up. So we have some late joiners. Perhaps they just didn't show up in practice, or maybe quit practice a little bit early. I think that's the most logical explanation for that one. As we now see, there's only 20 minutes remaining of qualifying here. So 1/3 done. Here's Richard Christie. He's looking rapid there, isn't he? And maybe this is the illusion of the track. I mean, it is a very small track, so... No. With it not being that wide, cars obviously do appear to be really fast. But it's fair to say that Oulton Park definitely has a special place in my heart now after the VRC series. And as to the course, I enjoyed them a lot. Here's Alan Xaplar. Another go for pole position, but for now, not possible, I'm afraid. And we have seen the first 142 come in. It's this man, Clive Bixby. Well, it's a fact that he knows how to drive, that's for sure. It's really impressive to see what he's doing. So we now watch Christian Romano. I'll stay with him for a little bit here. This is first time lap only, but where does he meet? What is the bar that he can set for himself? Try and improve him. Goes quite wide. I don't think that was track limits. We're about to find out though. Crosses the line. Moves up to P17. So I think he can still find an improvement. But when's that coming? Here's Ryan O'Sullivan. P12. Not bad at all. Tamar Brackstad, the driver for Big Brain Racing. Well, one of them. There's quite a few on the grid. Makes his way across as well. Decent lap coming in. Let's see if Richard Christie can also produce a decent lap. Same livery as our Welsh friend is using, of course. There we go, second fastest for Richard Christie. Still not in the 132s, however. I think that's going to be a definitely. He was here Momo Beats. I believe that is the Luxembourgish flag. It's kind of hard to tell if it's not so Luxembourgish, but I'm going to assume that's Luxembourg. So obviously they do share kind of similar liveries. Liveries flags, excuse me. That's a new name to the server as well. I don't believe I've seen that name before. Very slidey for Tibor Silagi. It's going to cost him a few tenths. Therefore, unfortunately, no improvement coming in. I think he might have had that if it wasn't for that neat little slide a bit. I must say, the style points are good. Joe Tomlin resets into the pits, and here's David Hill. To the first turn he goes. Just shows how powerful these cars really are as well, with the downforce that you get from them. It's definitely a track where a GT3 will be quicker than the GT2. At least that's my theory. Bumpiness, aerodynamics definitely help a lot on this one. Really sticks the car to the ground. That's Chris Tedder we're watching. He's also going to be coming in soon. Try and improve from that current P8. He's half a second off the pace, a little bit more. Unfortunately, not an improvement. In fact, that was an outlap of some sort. So I kind of forgot that he reset into the pits, but I guess it made sense after all. Xaplar is still second fastest though. I think also number 7 car going slowly. Not entirely sure if that was indeed what I saw, but James Frankland in the older gen Ferrari, 23rd fastest for him. Last that was actually a little bit quicker. Ooh, that's a little bit of a slide. Yeah, it goes off into the grass. Decides to reset after that one. A logical decision if I say so myself. Now through the Bulls corner we go, I believe that's called. Not mistaken. You have this little chicane, which can actually be really tricky to get right. And yeah, it seems like the bar is very high. Ryan O'Sullivan, small mistake. Calls off the lap as a result. Here is Christian Romano. 19th fastest for him at the moment. We're watching John Wilson. Halfway through the qualifying we are. Current top 10 stays quite stable. The only player to get into the 132s is still Clive Bixby. Adam Xapla right behind, followed by David Hill and Richard Christie. Now we have a newcomer. We have Momo Beats. That's one car going very wide. It's also one of the McLarens. The orange ones. No, it's actually the 296 then. It's probably Ryan O'Sullivan, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's Joe Tomlin. Who went off in the background there. We saw it. Currently staying aboard with John Wilson for a little while. Beautiful track, isn't it? Definitely still on my watch list when it comes to live motorsport races. Here's Jason Pooley again, making his way to the last corner. Well, technically second to last, I'm sure. Yeah, exactly. So it is counted as a turn there. That's turn 17, but it's only a very small one, so you don't really notice it that much. Still 16th fastest for him. Now, Ryan O'Sullivan definitely looking to be improving on that lap still. Here across the line, still 14th fastest. That was an outlap. Kind of hard to keep track of who is on outlaps and who's on fast laps. Pretty sure Chris will now be on an outlap. His last lap was on a fast lap. His last lap was a 33. That makes sense. And now he goes faster. 5th fastest for him. Chris is gonna be real happy with that, I bet. Goes off to celebrate as well. This is John Wilson. One of the two Wilsons on the grid. They run the same livery, both in the BMW. You see them currently about half a second apart they are. John leading between the two. Now, I have noticed that Aaron Holloway hasn't really come out of the pit since, which kind of hurts me. I like him. He always tunes into the streams, which is much appreciated, of course. But yeah, unfortunately, he's not out there right now. I'm curious to see if he will return to the track at some point. You see, we've got a very long race to go, so maybe he's just saving his energy a little bit. In fact, I should do that too. Here's Michael Syme. It's just such a beautiful livery, isn't it? The Emil Frey Racing, Red Bull. But I don't know much about the teams, to be honest, in terms of liveries. I don't know like which real life liveries are, you know, sponsored by certain teams, whatever. It's great to see that some drivers that are using their creativity. Ryan O'Sullivan obviously representing Big Brain Racing. That's a great looking livery, I think. Orange and black, definitely very noticeable. Here's Tibor Shilagi again. P10 as it stands right now. Getting ready to make his way through Lodge Corner as fast as he can. And then hopefully improving his lap a little bit here. Currently half a second off the leader space. So Clive Bixby obviously is a little bit of an alien. I think we can all agree on that one. Will he improve? Well, not quite for that one. Roughly a second of his usual pace. So yeah, not every driver putting in their greatest of laps at the moment. I believe that there's not been much improvements. Maybe John Dudley can, goes pretty wide into the last turn and now makes his way across. Can he improve? Well, not really. Who's next? It's Stefan Wilson. Him as well as one other driver have red markings. Now I'm not entirely sure why that is. But yeah. Doesn't really matter. He's here to race, and I think he'll be fine. Even with that weird red mark. It's Tedder again. Following the number 240 car behind him. That's one of the newer drivers. That is in fact the only new driver. Chris Tedder puts it on pole. 132.8. I think he's going to be happy with that one. Here is Mo Beats, and that was the new driver we were talking about. I believe he was their last race, although maybe I wasn't there. I'm not sure actually what the last race was, so somebody can educate me on that one. The lead 14 fastest, small improvement once again. Slowly but surely making some steps. That's great to see. Campbell going slowly. I think he's gone off. At least that's my theory here. He's lining himself up for the next race. Or well, next lap. Excuse me. Try one more time. We might as well stay with him for the entirety of it. Now for the people I am indeed back to manual spectating. We used the auto cam last time round. It was simply too difficult to not do it last time. I mean, it was first of all too long of a race, right? It was the 5-hour endurance. I split the comms duty with Ace's Alex, so he did the first 2.5 hours. I did the last 2.5 hours. Brian O'Sullivan. He's still going. But there was a weird yellow marker, so I'm not entirely sure what that was. And now, those slower corners obviously can be hard in terms of the weird exit angle that you really have. I mean, in these cars it's going to be less noticeable, but in the very understeery cars, that's where you're going to struggle. Effie Gamble, he's doing fine for now though. Obviously trying to push towards that 132 mark, but maybe that's a little bit too optimistic. We're gonna see, I guess. I'll happily stay aboard with him for now. Ooh, that's one of the Wilsons standing still. I believe it was Stefan Wilson. Last corner here for Matthew Gamble. At least the last substantial corner. This one doesn't really do that much to your lap time if you don't get it right. And still 6th fastest, but an improvement at least. A little bit quicker now. Maybe you can keep pushing in the last few minutes here. Adam Xaplar going slowly. Sparked up the car. Reset into the pits as we speak. Clive Bixie has a little bit of a moment. He has been dethroned there. It's now Hill and Tedder both join him in the 132 club. And David Hill's gone with a 132.7. Now finds himself on the pit, but this man done a great lap. John Wilson standing the other way around. Stefan Wilson's still going though. No, they actually do have different liveries. I didn't even notice that before. Thought they always ran the same, but I guess not. Ah, well, that's my bad then. Hello, boys. No stream for Split 2 today. No, unfortunately not, because Aces is now doing another league that I forgot the name of. So only Split 1 will be covered today. I hope we can get another broadcaster in. And if there's anything that I can do to help in that, I'd happily do that. But I can't be in two places at the same time. So I'm going to focus up on the number 1 split, but I at least hope that we can get a replacement, because I feel like that would be really great. Here's Kowalski. There's only a couple minutes left in. This is only his 3rd lap in, so I see quite a few drivers who are not getting as much laps in as they potentially would have hoped for. Shimon Kowalski still doing his thing, not getting distracted by the others. Doesn't need to focus on cars behind him, so needs to look ahead here. It can always help if you're chasing another, right? You can copy the lines, you can even get some slipstream in some lucky cases. Ooh, it's a slow corner from the McLaren though. Very different line taken, but Vicky also lost a lot of time there. Kowalski goes 11 fastest eventually. That's good stuff. I mean, it's only his 4th lap he started now, so shows me that he definitely has the talent for the track. Or maybe he's been practicing a lot. I can't really tell. Here's Joe Tomlin, one of the big brain racing drivers, going across the line. P15. Perhaps not what he's hoped for, but qualifying time is almost up, so gonna be interesting. Brackstad, no improvements from him, at least not yet. But he already has a very decent lap in. I mean, he finds himself in roughly the middle of the pack, so not too bad of a starting position, especially considering the things that usually happen here. James Franklin, he is struggling, however. Now, I wonder what it is. I wonder if that's got anything to do with the car choice here, because he's the only one that goes on this specific Ferrari. No improvements yet. I mean, he's half a second off Michael Symes' time. Chico Lanefer hasn't come out of the pits at all, in fact. So it's gonna be interesting. Oh, and now I just noticed, because they are AM drivers officially. Alright, interesting. I don't know if they're in the wrong server or if they're just having the wrong tags. That I don't know. But yeah, 2.5 minutes left. 2 laps for most of us. First fastest lap is Clive Bixby again. Oh no, I didn't even notice that. He's just gone faster than David Hill and now finds himself at a 1:32.7. Sorry, 5.62. It's this man that is only 1:32.7. That's David Hill. Moving to start on the front row if things don't change. Number 69 driver, of course, because he's very mature for his age. And yeah, once again, that results for him. Here is Jack Holden. Just minding his own business over here. And Franklin, once again on a spree to hope to improve. Franklin's still 24th. It's not been easy for him, to say the least. Predicty Lane in P17 for now. Costello once again on a flying lap. Did so well, but now finds himself behind Beatson Hill and Clive Bixby, of course. Starting his last lap, pushing it, giving it everything that he can. The hopes to improve. Jack Holden. Down the hill and up the hill he goes. Have one more shot after this, but at least his last lap time is looking okay, but he's gonna need to somehow still shave off 6/10 if he wants to give it another shot. Time's running out here. How many drivers able to finish up their laps? Matthew Gamble might be able to get one more in. So keep applying that pressure, of course. Gonna throttle a few seconds to make the line, and he will. So last lap for him as well. No improvement on this one, however. So one last shot to try and improve. Qualifying is officially over, so everybody now that comes in can no longer improve. We have the first drivers underway already. Ryan O'Sullivan, 17th position here. I don't think he's going to be too happy with that. I think he can do better, and I think he knows that as well. So at least I view him as a really rapid driver. Maybe I'm just overestimating, but everybody in splits so damn quick, so maybe that's the reason. Here's Chris Tedder. Once again across the line. No, not even. He's gone into the pits. Won't be finishing his laps. Maybe Joe Tomlin will. 1:33.6 is the time to beat for him. But no improvement. Shame. That's what it is. It's Clive Bixby. Wow, even faster on the last one. Why not? Yeah, sure, mate. Just keep flexing on us like that, okay? We'll do fine. Here's Dan Pickles. With his first 1:33 and some at least one more position. I think it should be qualifying over for everybody but one man. And that man is Matthew Gamble, crossing the line one more time. Or actually not even. Headed into the pits. That will now be the end of it. We swap over to the camera for one small moment while we wait for everybody to get ready on the grid. And it's Clive Bixby to come out on top, followed by David Hill and then Xaplar and Beats as well. Steaders in P5, Matthew Gamble in P6, and then we have another OG, Mr. Christie, P7. Then we have Tibor Shilagi, Jack Holden, and Frederik Tieslane to round out our top 10. On our top 10, we have Kowalski, Jewick, Brakstad, Wilson, Dudley, Tomlin, Sullivan, and then Pickles in P18. And then we have Romano, Stefan Wilson, Jason Pooley, Aaron Holloway, Michael Syme, James Franklin, and Chico Lane, for which is the only driver to not put in a valid lap time. So he's going to be starting from the back if he's even racing in the first place. Maybe it's on stewarding duty. Could very well be the case. Hasn't moved an inch at least. Well, we're going to be waiting everybody to their thing. And yeah, well, I'm excited for this one. I'm a little bit tired and a little bit sick still. I hope to improve on that later on. So yeah. Anyways, it was Clive Bixby, both fastest in the free practice as well as in the race. Quickest in every single sector apart from sector 3, where David Hill was just slightly quicker. So I think from now on we're gonna see that good race. Sure. Currently waiting for the server to be set up. I hope no more incidents like we had in the last one. That would be real unfortunate. Let me just tell you that. Yeah, because obviously we did the Amigos 500 one. That one was a great success. I think it's fair to say. Oh god, my PC is getting real warm. That's not good. Fixing the last things. I stream personally as well. Might me to also swap back to the proper scene. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck watching my face for hours, which can be fun for some. Now it's 5 minutes until we get going. Just saw the sign come in. See how things go then. See, the start is always the most chaotic bit. I'm sure we can pull it off. All right, we got the success penalties applied now. That was Clive Bixby with 15 seconds. McGee's with 10 seconds. And David Hill with 5 seconds. Applied. Oh, Beat says 1 hour Oulton Park coming. And Spotter gives me Sheryl Crow. Am I supposed to know what that is? I'm uncultured. I'm not old enough, I think. No more chatting. Yeah, it's good to see that people are actually liking Oulton Park. Being home for the fastest Holden. Oh, Jack Holden, yeah. Well, it looks like the bromances in the server are still a real thing. It's good to see. Now, we're doing a very short formation here. No more full laps. Yeah, kind of became boring. Jason Pooley said, bring it home for the fastest Holden. Jack Holden said, on it, boss. So, looks like they're fine. My CPU is struggling, dude. It's never a good sign, is it? I'm afraid the rest of us are disabled here. Yeah. Well, good fun at least in chat. Anyways, in case you haven't noticed yet, I finally have my ring light set up. So now I am less affected by the colors of my monitor, which is great. It's the only thing that was really lacking from this setup, but at least I've got it working again. And yeah. Beautiful, isn't it? Small improvements every single day. I don't know why you would say that. I'm afraid the rest of us are disabled here. I mean, maybe he's referring to the Big Brain Racing lads. Maybe that is the only one feeling confident on this track. Yeah, with the penalty supplies, I mean, that would mean that officially Xaplar is in the lead from the beginning. So it doesn't obviously work like that, but he's the one that qualified P3 and he didn't have a penalty. Oh, Jesus, I'm tired. Can't we race earlier, lads? Great. We open chat again. Appears I lost it. There we go. Don't think I've missed a message though, so we're just fine. Up like that. Now it's just a matter of waiting. 1.5 minutes until we get going. Hope you guys are enjoying the sponsor rotation as well. Added in Asus's logo, even though it's gone now, but Honorary is still out there with us today. He forgot his pizza's ready now. Oh god, Momo. Yeah, I don't think he's even the server, no? Dominic Geese. I haven't seen him, I think. He also was not there according to SimGrid, so that makes sense. It's a shame. I always like seeing him. Unfortunately, people have other things to do as well, right? Racing is just a hobby. "30 seconds till we get going here." Whoop. Interesting. Somebody walked into my room. I don't know who that was. It was I gotta watch the stream now to see what actually happened. I've got no clue. Anyways, it appears that I am set up. Volume back on. Perfect. Popping over the scene. Ooh, interesting. The number 240 car has just been sent back to the pits here. That is Momo Beats. He'll be starting from the pit lane, I guess. That's never a good sign, is it? Maybe driver make it through safe. Always unsure who to spectate here. I mean, it's always really tricky to get it right, so yeah. He's lining up. We want to ensure that we can see everybody in the start. I guess we're staying with Frederick Tieslane for the time being. It is green light and we are on the way for the 1-hour race at Oulton Park. Looks like the start's okay for everybody. So far, no big hits. A small touch there. And no, that's Matthew Gamble and Chris Tedder colliding. And also the Hungarian ride on top of that, I believe. And that's another tick. Oh no, that's in fact the Big Brain Racing car involved there. It's an absolute massacre. So many drivers facing the wrong way. Chris Tedder disqualifying all for nothing. And same for Matthew Gamble. I was lost for words there. Yeah, I couldn't find the correct words for everything that I wanted. And Chico Lane for also thank you very much. I'll happily take P17 in the beginning. Obviously he didn't qualify, but he is racing tonight in the Rexy car as always. And I think that was already the first disconnect if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. A little bit of a touch ended up being real bad, so yeah, those things happen, I guess. One player already disconnected. I'm not sure who that was, but yeah, never a great sign, that's for sure here. Now left and right here. Seems to be going all fine since that point on. So now up the hill we go. Currently watching Jack Oulton do his thing for the 2ID team. Matthew Gamble running similar liveries, of course. Matthew Gamble now fights himself all the way back. P14, at least a small recovery. Don't think it was hit the hardest though. It was maybe Chris Tedder that really went far off. Now I don't know where Chris Tedder is. Is he disconnected? He might have. I think that's the name we're missing from the grid at the moment. I don't see him anymore. That's a shame. Maybe he'll tune into the live stream later on. He got absolutely murdered in the beginning and then I guess decided that racing wasn't worth doing anyways. Tough luck. That's the only words I've got for it. Other than that, the first lap actually ended up being alright here. No big incidents. Makes me happy to see. And that's Dan Pickles going off in the background. Don't think he's lost too much time. I wonder if there was a touch involved. Not entirely sure here. But other than that, the racing has been relatively clean. And every time I say that, something happens. So maybe I shouldn't say something anyways. We have a long battle here for the P9 position. Don Dudley has gained has lost 2 positions now, making 1 more. Thought he won him at first, but no, his live update has seen him come down. Look at that big train as well of Porsches and other GT3 cars. Of course, made 2 Ferraris and the rest are all from the German manufacturer there. No big incidents ever since, so I'm a happy man. The battle here for P3, led by Richard Christie. Then we have Clive Bixby, Jack Oulton and Szymon Kowalski, as well as Frederik T. Slane to end out that group. That's the big group in the front. And then we have another group here that's being led by Matthew Gamble. Then we have John Dudley, Chico Lane for Samuel Braxton, Aaron Holloway, James Franklin, Ryan Sullivan, as well as Thomas Shilagi, all involved into that one. So still big groups, at least for now. Still David Hill leading, but he's fine so far. He managed to escape, actually, avoided all the chaos in the beginning. Now finds himself leading as a result. I'm watching James Franklin. I'm a little bit obsessed with the car, to be honest. I think it looks absolutely stunning. It's kind of hard to tell which sponsors he's put on, but definitely looks like a high effort livery. He started from the pit lane for, well, an unknown reason to us. I wonder if he was just trying to prevent from that chaos and just use practice anyways in the qualifying session. So what's got to do here? Momo Beats wants to go side by side also as well. And it's actually put GIMP on this livery. That's interesting because that's obviously a free Photoshop alternative. So creative with the liveries. Judging by the name of the livery, it looks like he sees it as its own creations. And that's the pit lane opening. First driver coming in immediately. I wonder if that is a tactical decision here, or maybe it was just damage, right? O'Sullivan into the pits early. That way he won't ever have to pit again. Maybe he's got damage, maybe he just wants to get that repaired as soon as possible. That's also a valid explanation, and number 666 to get involved. Oh no, what has happened here? James Franklin. There was a couple other drivers involved in that one. Let's see what happened then. Franklin minding his own business. Was it in front of him that it happened then? I'm not entirely sure. Oh yeah, it was Chico Lanevaart colliding with one of the Porsches. And James is getting involved up in all the action. Was Aaron Holloway then? I believe it was. Colliding with Chico Lanevaart. Well, that's not great. At least he's still driving, at least for now. Would be a shame if we got more disconnects along the way. I think there's a disconnect though, and here's another touch. Stefan Wilson, as well as John Dudley. Well, at least we get to see those beautiful physics of the blocks getting removed there. But yeah, not great. Incidents early on definitely don't make me very happy. At least we're all still driving though, that's what matters here. Here we see Jason Pooley now up the butt of John Dudley, and John Dudley obviously has been involved in quite a few incidents. Here's Chico Lanevaart again, off into the grass. I don't know if he got touched again, or perhaps it was just his own fault. Again, now falling back all the way. He made such a good comeback in the beginning. He finds himself driving again. Still lost a lot of pace in the process, however. I'm actually still amazed at how close some people can like fight without having any issues. Ooh, Michael Syme finds himself facing the wrong way, gets out of the way just in time. Well, that was sketchy. Luckily managed to avoid it and reset into the pits. That might be the end of him. There's the disconnect as well. That's our second DNF now. Chris Tudder as well as the driver that we just saw in. And yeah, what a shame that was. He was doing decent in qualifying. Christian Romano, he's had a stellar start. He's up 9 positions from his initial qualifying position. Now finds himself pitting early. Lots of drivers here headed into the pits early. I wonder what the strategy for that is. Christian Romano in the pits, and I believe there's one more. That is Thomas Shilagi, also in the pits. He's been staying there for quite a while now, so maybe, just maybe, something's happened. Maybe he's got damage. It could obviously happen. He could have been involved in any of the incidents. I'm not entirely sure. This is Shema Kowalski we're watching. Also finds himself in an impressive P6. Won a position, I believe 5 of them, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it was P11 indeed. P11, not 11. That's the Dutch word. Apologies. Joe Tomlin loses 1 position. Obviously they are teammates in a way. So I'm not expecting them to do anything too risky together. Someone said as well that he was relying on I don't believe it was him saying that, but they said that they were relying on one driver mainly to do good work out there tonight on Oulton Park. So that makes me think that not everybody's been able to put in as much practice as they would have loved to. Here's Clive Bixby added into the pits as well. Keep in mind, he's got a penalty to serve. He has to serve that mandatory success penalty that he's gotten as a result. Oh, that's a touch. That's a T-bone. Momo beats. It's the Ferrari into the wall. This is what it looked like from our perspective. I don't want to judge too early. That's obviously the decision for the stewards to make. It definitely wasn't a good look for the Luxembourgish driver there. Now we watch Jason Pooley chase down John Dudley still. And the last time I tried to say something about John Dudley, I got interrupted. But he started in P15, finds himself 2 spots ahead of his first pointer. Clive Bixby falling all the way back now because of his long pit stop. 15 seconds added, even if it's just a splash and dash. So makes me quite curious what his plan is. I wonder, in fact, if this is all intentional, or maybe it was just that he wants to avoid the chaos, right? That's a tactic that could definitely work, but eventually you're going to catch up to the back markers, and if that's pretty soon, well, then you have to deal with all the blue flags, so then you're also relying on the other drivers to pit early, which could be a mistake, of course. Here's Joe Tomlin. He's got damage. I think we all know why. And the BMW behind him. Now this is it's Jay Wilson, as Wilson's right ahead of him, so a little bit of a sandwich between the Wilsons. It is for Joe Tomlin. But yeah, the BMW is looking significantly better when it comes to damage-wise. And oh, that's a little bit of a spin. John Wilson keeps it on the track, barely. Still struggling to get back on. Gets out of the way as well. Make sure that he doesn't want to... it doesn't hit anybody over. That's the most important part, right? You shouldn't really care about what the other drivers do, but you should at least make sure you don't avoid them, that you do avoid them. Joe Tomlin into the pits as well. Big brain racing drivers managing his pit time early. Here's Chico Lane fire, once again close to Aaron Holloway. Last time that didn't end too well. So I wonder if his approach is going to be different here. Maybe he's going to be scared to go side by side. Or maybe he's just going to take a different place to overtake her. Now, Chico Lane is obviously very rapid. Proven that many seasons. And let's see if he can reproduce that. Now, he's just staying behind though. That's obviously the Rexy livery he's in as well. The pink livery. It's an absolutely stunning one, I think. There's obviously Rexy and Roxy. This is Roxy, I believe. Rexy is the green one. That's how it was, yes. So yeah, they're quite unique in the sense that, you know, they have taken inspiration from the son of, I believe, the principal for that team that actually ended up running them. So they asked him, hey, do you have a good idea for this? And the son, I believe, is like 5 or 6, said, well, I like dinosaurs. And then somehow that ended up being a real thing, but it's kind of become a cult icon in the motorsports world. Definitely one of the most unique and recognizable liveries out there on track. I feel like everybody that watches GT racing knows who Roxy and Rexy are. Aaron Holloway still leading the group. Looks like the Ferrari of Ryan O'Sullivan is also getting himself involved in that. He was a little bit further behind. Now finds himself chasing, so Battle's still far from over, both in the beginning and the end of the track. Frederick T. Slane hasn't served this early pit stop, but finds himself up in P4. Started P10, halfway through the grid roughly, and now he's doing real good. After those 2 disconnects as well, we haven't seen any more. That's great to see as well. So at least the majority of the drivers are still going. Some of them obviously find themselves way back. For example, Matthew Campbell as well as Stan Pickles. All involved in incidents. But these are all still going. Here's Jason Pooley again. Lego livery for the Norwegian driver. It's an interesting one, but I think it looks good. I like the creativity that people are bringing here. Still no changes when it comes to the positioning between these drivers. Still, it is Aaron Holloway leading. And Chico Lane for right behind. Good defensive driving we're seeing from the Brit here. So far, nobody has made it past. So, it's obviously a big giveaway that things are going well. Chico Lane far heads into the pits. He's done battling. He wants instead to take his mandatory pit stop now. Try again later. Obviously, he's also got some damage to the car. I wonder if he's going to bother repairing. And some more backstab. Where are you, my friend? Oh, you're in the barrier. That's where you are. So great. Finds himself facing the wrong way as well. See, grass is very slippery, so he has to find another way to rejoin the track, and he does so safely at least, but has lost a significant amount of time doing so. So keep in mind the conditions here, they are very tricky. So Tomlin now overtakes Chico Lane as well because he's still in the pit lane. He's been stopped for quite a while now, 40 seconds already. It's quite early to pit for tires, so I think it's mainly going to be damage. But obviously these things can be done simultaneously, so if you have a massive amount of damage, you could as well use some new tires, but in a 60-minute race, it's not going to matter much, I think. It's just going to be all about pushing. Jim Kowalski chasing now Frederik Slane, the other Norwegian driver that, well, is feeling pretty happy, I think, with the current results we see. Germano fallen off a little bit, but still finds himself in a good position compared to where he started. So I think I'll take it. He's lost a little bit of time somewhere, but for now it just seems fine. The AF course, Ferrari looking stunning as always, of course. I think it's... I'm not a big Ferrari guy, I gotta say, but I think... Actually, I could be mistaken, but we are using awesome simulation... Wait, what's it called? Awesome sim racing? Yeah. To sync liveries manually. You're able to create any livery you want as long as it's like, you know, within rules of common sense. So, of course, certain symbols and stuff won't be allowed on the cars, but... Clive Bixby, well, he is the fastest driver on the grid, we know that, but well, he's one of the quickest drivers, maybe not the quickest driver, that just depends per race, of course, but yeah, he needs to find his way past, and it's going to take a while. I mean, this is what happens when you pit early. You have a big comeback to go with. Side by side they go. Clive Bixby aggressive there, and McLaren not able to stick the move quite yet. Is there overlap? No, there isn't. So he's starting in behind again. Aaron Holloway survives the first attack, but then a small mistake might cost him, I believe, and into the pits he goes. I don't know if he wanted to pit there intentionally or not, but decided that that might have been the best time to do so. And gets his mandatory pit stop over. So lots of drivers here that we're seeing using that pit stop early. In fact, the last 9 drivers have. There's one more in the middle as well, so 10 drivers have pitted already. And there's only 40 minutes, I mean, there's still 40 minutes remaining, so... It's an interesting strategy here, pitting early. I wonder what the reasoning behind that was. Yeah, Christian Romano now. Still chasing James Franklin, although I'm not... If I'm not mistaken, I must say that I saw the yellow car to be behind at first. Christian Romano flashes his lights, he's not happy. He has to overtake fair and square, so for now he's just gonna have to wait. Overtaking obviously isn't easy on this track because, well, there's only really one good line that you can take. It's bumpy. It isn't very wide, so everything works against you here. That's just how it is, of course. This is Shama Kowalski we're watching. The M4 obviously always looks quite big compared to the other cars because it's so tall compared to the rest. Not very aerodynamic, of course. But obviously it makes up with other things. It's an excellent car to begin. In my experience, it's very easy to drive, although it's also very hard to extract true pace out of it. But definitely a very safe car to pick. But if you're rapid in the BMW, then that's another skill, right? Because you are front-engined, unlike some of the other cars, for example the Porsche and the McLaren that you see ahead of them. But obviously it's just a different driving style. They tend to be a little bit more understeer, a little bit more safe. So you have to push it to the maximum, of course. And Jim Kowalski definitely is succeeding at that because he finds himself in P5 at least temporarily. Now there might be a little bit of a false sense of security here, because obviously he's yet to serve his mandatory pit stop, and a lot of drivers already have, so it's one of the reasons that I think that the BMWs might be good for a result there, despite that, of course. So we'll check on them back later as well, see if anything has changed there. Ryan O'Sullivan loses a position. Clive Bixby goes ahead, and it's the other BMW M4 on the grid, Matthew Gamble. And obviously we've got the Wilsons as well driving that. Those are the only 4 on the grid. Yes, I am correct when I say that. But I think the BMW is the most beautiful of them all. Although I've also got to say, I love me some Porsches. Now, Simon Kowalski finds himself very close up to the McLaren now. It looks like Richard Christie's gaining a small bit of time compared to the other two. Makes me think that Frederick Tislane made a slight mistake, and now the BMW is all over him. When will there be a proper time to attack? For now, there's not really an option to do so. He just has to wait, slot in behind, and just stalk his spray for a little bit longer, because Szymon Kowalski, well, he might have a chance now. Flashing lights for Szymon Kowalski, because Frederick Tislane has lost a bit of pace, and now right up him one more time. Can be tricky with the braking, of course, but I think he'll manage. And now will we see a overtaking opportunity? In the meanwhile, we see that it is the Porsche ahead, so that is Richard Christie just gaining and gaining on the two. So Szymon Kowalski definitely feels like he's being held up, and he might be right at that. But Frederick Tislane, well, he has all the right to defend here, so I can't blame him. Try to keep him behind for, well, at least a couple more seconds. Obviously, they're going to have to pit eventually, but for now, that's no worry. But what will the plan be? I've got no clue. Tamara Brackstad. So driver we're aboard with now. Looks like the track will stay sunny at least the upcoming time. Obviously it is dynamic conditions, so that might change. It's actually very interesting how they do that. So basically what they do is, if I'm not mistaken, they kind of simulate 1,000 sessions in a way, and based on that they can say like, hey, okay, it's this much chance of rain, or that's actually the other way around, of course. They make a percentage and then run a simulation to see what it actually does. That's the other way around, of course. Now Aaron Holloway's had to fall off, and that's also the race leader just passing now. After 14 laps, he has lapped the driver we're currently watching, Samuel Brackstad, one of the 2 Norwegians on the grid. Always good to see some extra diversity in there. I always love seeing some new faces on the grid as well. Of course, everybody's welcome in the league. So, yeah, Oulton Park is a track that I view as tricky, and obviously being a DLC track, not everybody's got the most experience on it, but I wonder if that's also a deciding factor for some to choose it or not choose it. I'll swap over to Momo Beats. Just doing his thing in P6 for now. Verjuwik is the driver ahead. It's of course one of the 2 drivers that we know from Vivid Global Racing. It's this livery, of course, it's very recognizable. It's very bright livery, and well, it's quite lively as well. I think it definitely adds nice bit of flair. Ooh, Christian Romano made a small mistake. Now it's just multiple players pass him. We can keep going. He can finally get up to speed again. Maybe he's got damage, judging by the way he's driving right now. Seems to be struggling. Can you see what it looks like from the inside? It's very slow. Now he's going again. Okay, interesting. Maybe just taking his time to rejoin safely, and in that case, I respect that. You know, I'll happily take that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. Now, it looked a bit weird, of course, from the outside. Because for me, I've got no clue what's going on at first, right? I just have to basically guess. So that's why I also swapped over to the in-car camera. See, hey, is there damage onto the car? It's of course a possibility, right? That way you usually see if the steering column is broken, that you'll see that. When driving straight, the wheel isn't standing straight, so you have to kind of, you know, adapt to it in that sense. And obviously you're gonna be way slower doing that. Simply doesn't allow you to use the car to its full potential, but that didn't seem to be the case, because I'm pretty sure when he was driving forward that his steering wheel was facing you know, forwards as it should be. Meanwhile, Oliver Dewey here, he's lost the position to Momo Beats. McLaren's here going wheel to wheel, and the Luxembourgish driver coming out on top, topping the German for now. Obviously, there is still time for a little comeback here, so might see them changing around a little bit later. And I'm not sure actually, but 23 drivers on the grid. I believe we've reached 30 last race, so I'm curious to see why that is. It might be because it's one of the UK tracks. It's obviously DLC, not everybody has the DLC or wants to invest into the DLC. I've got the DLC because, well, I need it for my commentary, right? So it's an investment I've done. It's one of the few DLCs I have. I believe I also have the one with Kyalami in it. The very lovely track Kyalami. One of my favorites, although I might be biased as, you know, half South African. Well, don't worry, I'm a full person, but, you know, hopefully from their DNA wise. What I should specify. If you gamble. Still not polished yet. David Hill comes to service pit stop. Being the race as a new leader. Alan Xaplar is now the driver in front. Doesn't know it quite yet. There he goes again, but doesn't look like his pit is cleared. What has happened to him? Is he just completely gone, or is the oh, okay, no, it's just that the they don't update it yet. Okay, so that's what happened. Oh, it's like, hey, what's going on here? Why is it doing that? Look at David Hill. Look at how far he's going to be pushed back now. Already in the pit for a minute. Ooh, what's happening with David Hill then? Wonder if that's part of the strategy. As you can see as well, we're getting close to the halfway point of the race already. It's just a 60-minute race for now. Nothing like the 5-hour endurance that we did before, of course. Lovely event that is. Obviously, I have been enjoying that race myself live. It was a pleasure doing comms for that one. I must say that a 2.5-hour stint is never easy. Of course, that's kind of a given, right? It's kind of hard to talk continuously for that much, but I'm a huge fan of it. I enjoy the exciting racing. Even for that long, it's still amazing at how close these drivers really are together. For example, it's surprising as well, because can you imagine driving for 5 hours and still only being like 1 second behind or ahead of someone? It's unreal, but it also shows the level of consistency that all these drivers have, right? And that's also why I thought that endurance racing wasn't for me. I always thought like, hey, this is boring because in the end we're all just going to be driving our own laps. There's just nothing. But yeah, in the end it ended up being okay, I guess. Here's Matthew Gamble again. Still behind Ryan O'Sullivan. Gap is roughly half a second. And weirdly enough, I don't think they announced that the race was halfway through, or maybe I missed it, I'm not sure. Simon Wilson, Jason Pooley and Jack Holland all in the pits, and Mumble Beats makes a mistake. Jewig still quite far behind though, so it's not going to matter too much. Small mistake on the exit, but he'll survive at least, luckily. Making his way through Knickerbrook now. You know, it's weird because some of these corners, in fact, corner 13, 14, hell, let's say corner 17 as well, they are not really corners in the sense that they really move a lot, right? It's just a very small kinks that I don't think really affect anything. So I'm curious to see why the reasoning behind the design is. Oulton Park is a track that I know as well. A very old one at that, I believe. I can't really explain you why. Aaron Holloway makes his way past Jason Pooley. Just a little bit of a comeback race here then for Aaron Holloway. Started P22, now P16, despite the incidents that, well, he has faced in the past. For example, the touch that he had before with Chico Lanefire. Noah Beats into the pits, serving his mandatory pit stop here. So almost everybody served, and now the only drivers that haven't is the current top 5. Gonna have to come in, but usually you'll see that the drivers in front tend to pit later to try and create a gap. Also ensure that you don't end up in traffic. Also means it's a little bit deceptive though, because obviously these drivers might be P1 and P2 now, but after the drivers pit they might not be, because for example we'll see a Clive Bixby will move up a few positions as a result, of course, because well, all the drivers ahead of him are gonna pit. So the gaps are obviously at the moment. Can I see? Yeah, the gap is 41 seconds to the leader. Well, a pit takes about, well, 22 seconds. So he'll pass at least 2 as a result. So that's why that happens, of course. And it's also why the tactical element is actually bigger than you might think, right? When do I pit? When do I ensure that I am in as little as traffic as possible? James Franklin finds himself with a drive-through. I wonder what that's for. My guess would be corner cutting. But there's no information on that one yet, of course. Jason Pooley and Aaron Holloway still fighting for positions. Closest battle at the moment. Ooh, Aaron Holloway, small slip up. Managed to recover though. Priority Slane now. He's been having a stellar race. P3 at the moment, obviously still yet to pit, but even then he's doing great. minutes left to go, so top 5 yet to pit. Here's Tibor Shilagi in P1, and yeah, David Hill, I mean, he spitted again, interestingly enough. He now finds himself in last place, and by quite a big margin too. I wonder what the reasoning behind that was. Might have been a little bit of a technical issue, at least that's what I assume. Maybe using force feedback or something along those lines. What a shame that would be. Frederick Tislane getting closer now as well. Mr. Christie needs to be careful, although it's going to be interesting because, well, they are approaching slower cars. Look at the pace through that corner. That's insane. Still behind the rest though, obviously. Frederick Tislane moving up slowly but surely, but at the moment I don't know if there's a true opportunity coming around anytime soon. As for now, there's not really, but the gap is narrowing. 22 minutes remaining of the race, and Frederick Tislane finds himself in a stable third position. Wonder when they're going to go for those pit stops as well, because well, obviously there's only 17 minutes left to do your mandatory pit stop. We just saw a driver go in. That was Richard Christie, and indeed it was. So he's now serving his pit stop. He seems to be done with it. He no longer wants to be involved in the racing action. Has decided that this is now a good time to give up second place to Frederick Tislane. And Frederick Tislane is going to keep pushing forward. Max Applar is still the race leader though, with half a second between them. As expected, of course, Richard Christie starts to lose positions. Finds himself in P4. When he comes out, kept narrowing a little bit, but at least he's driving again, so really not getting close. But yeah, that was to be expected, right? Obviously, Oliver Dewey is still yet to pit as well. So yeah, maybe they will swap back later on. This is the overtake for the lead then. Frederick Tislane is the new race leader. Max Applar makes a small mistake. Now is passed. 21 minutes remaining. Can he hold on to the race lead after the pit as well? I doubt it, to be honest. I mean, Christie served it. Maybe he's not going to bad after all, if I consider that. I mean, it wasn't going to depend on the pit times. But we'll see how things go then. Max Applar now tries to go for the switch back, or is it Frederick Tislane pitting instead? Yes, it is. Max Applar takes back the race lead. Had it for just a little bit, but obviously he's going to have to come in eventually. There's 15 minutes left to serve that mandatory pit stop. You have to do. It's probably going to be a splash and dash. It's too late in the race to chase towers now. Wouldn't be really worth it. And other than him and Oliver Dewey and John Dudley, I believe everybody served their pit stop. Indeed, that's the case. Let's look a little bit further back down the field. You can see Jack Holden. The car behind you has David Hill. He's not on the same lap. I mean, despite being a little bit quicker, at least in terms of race pace, he finds himself behind because of the technical issues that he had before. 19 minutes is all that remains in this race at Oulton Park. As they make themselves through Britain's turns one more time. You can see as well how much grip they're taking there. Like Slane in P5 after rejoining. John Dudley is obviously going to come in, and so are Xapler and Juwix. So that's when we really start to see how these things go. But is the Porsche going to be a burden here for the other driver? Because obviously, well, he's officially entitled to just defend the position. There's no reason to let him pass. Now, obviously, if he's smart about it, and if he notices that both players are losing time, then maybe Richard Christie will make the decision to let the McLaren pass. Because you can spend a lot of tires and energy trying to defend the position, but if you're going to have to pit anyways, it's not going to be worth it in the long run. And that long run is shortening up because there's, well, very little time remaining to serve that mandatory pit stop. We still expect 3 drivers to come in. All drivers in the top 4, that is. The only driver in the top 4 who has served this pit stop is Richard Christie himself, so I can happily take that. Actually, I said before that was actually Richard Christie defending, but obviously it was not. That was John Dudley. Similar livery. In fact, I think it's identical. A small mistake made by me there. That happens here. John Dudley serves his mandatory pit stop as well. He's going to fall back a couple positions. Where is he going to end up? I'm going to find out real soon. Shimmer Kowalski will at least pass him. So that's 1 position gained by him again. The other driver still pitting. He is bound to have a good result as well. Coming from P11, of course. I think he'll happily take all of this. Evan Wilson got himself in a battle with Dan Pickles. It's the BMW versus the Ferrari 296. Look at how bumpy that track is over the straight as well. Big difference. And Stefan Wilson wants to give him a run for his money at least. That's between P12 and P13 still going on. We have one more disconnect in the meanwhile. I don't know who we are missing now. Hard for me to say really. So many drivers to pay attention to that there's no way for me to tell, unfortunately. A little bit of a camera bug there happening. It happens. Ooh, a little bit of a hiccup there. It looked like. Was that a early shift into the wrong gear? I think it might have been for Stefan Wilson. A little weird noise at least coming out of the car. Maybe that's just me not having the greatest of times. Here's Matthew Gamble. P9 for now. John Dudley, however, very close by. 0.1 seconds only. Basically side by side at this point. Then the Gamble considers it, and Porsche gave him enough space, I think, but not worth it to go side by side there. That pit window is closing down soon. Richard Christie serves his pit stop. Frederick Slane has. Clive Bixby has as well, but Xapler and Juwix are yet to come in. Frederick Slane as well. Driver behind is a overtake for position. And Frederick Slane has had a wonderful performance here. Looks like he just feels right at home here in the UK. I consider him a midfield driver, but now might have to start rating him differently. And Pickles loses the position over to Stefan Wilson, that is. The other Wilson, John Wilson, finds himself in P19. He has been off camera for a little while because at the moment he has no real opponents. Ubershilagi does have him right in front. That is James Frankland. What can he do to take away that position then from the Ferrari? Hungarian driver, obviously, he is a really quick one. Looked like a little bit of blocking going on there. Don't think there was enough space to go past on that side. Looked like he had way more momentum into that, but that might just be my eyes deceiving me. I find it hard to say. There's only a quarter of the race left as well, so I have to keep our eyes out on it. Clive Bixby had the position for a little bit, but lost it again. And same goes for John Dudley, who now finds himself behind the BMW. Matthew Gamble in P8, at least temporarily. Clive Bixby, still the chasing driver for now. Beats. He's closed up to the pole. Jim Kowalski, of course. The honorary Brit, or perhaps even half Brit at this point, I'm not even sure, because I'm pretty sure he lives in the UK. He's a fluent British accent, if I remember correctly. Sparks my curiosity if he can hold on to that position now. Last time I had a battle with Jim Kowalski like this, it ended up with him in the barriers, and that might also have to do with the fact that we were at the time playing breakfast. But even then, you know. All jokes, of course. Overjuic in P2. Its way by all the other drivers, and now still chasing Adam Xaplar because, well, they're still yet to pit. So when are they coming in? The main question that we all have at the moment. I mean, we can just watch and see this battle unfold because 7.5 minutes on the clock. I'm curious to see when they're going to make the decision to pit. Now they're both staying out. Obviously, if you don't serve your pit stop, you're getting a harsh penalty. Which is one of the rules of the Amigos Racing League, and I'm pretty sure that's also the rule that they kind of have everywhere. And Franklin, he lost the position to Tibor Shilagi. I bet isn't too happy with that. Xaplar enjoying the lead while he can, because I'm pretty sure that Richard Christie will overtake him. In fact, he's now the race leader in a way, because you cannot do a pit stop in 13 seconds. That's roughly the gap, so Richard Christie might be cruising home to a victory then. Let's say the gap stays like this, right? 13 seconds of the leader. The fastest pit stop we have seen is 22 seconds. He's just not making it. It's just how it is. They can no longer stay in the lead. That's something very special happens, of course, but it's safe to assume that that might not happen. And let's have a look at the onboard, shall we? Just as well to give you a good idea as to what it looks and sounds like from the inside of the McLaren. It's so beautiful to see how well they're doing this. I mean, Oliver Dewey seems very comfortable in the McLaren at the moment. Adam Xaplar struggling to get away. He's staying within an... Oh, wait, what has just happened? Wait, what? Huh? Okay, interesting. I don't know what that was. Okay, retry again. Well, interesting game. Overdue. Still in P2. 5 minutes left to box. Pit stop is mandatory, and they know that as well. So, ooh, Overdue now getting very close, but maybe around the outside. No, not quite. Or maybe cutting back to the inside, or just mix up with defending well. I think he will. Ooh, not as the Ferrari we saw in the background, and James Franklin also finds himself in the grass at the same time. 4.5 minutes. Well, they can do 2 more laps in this, and then they're just going to be forced to get in there. So see that evolving a little bit. I have noticed that they're both doing very similar lap times, of course, because they're kind of stuck behind each other. And as soon as Xaplar's lap times go down, so do Juwik's laps down. So it just shows how tricky it is to overtake here. Anyone taking the pit stop now? Yes. Oliver Juwik is coming. This is where we now gotta pay our attention to Alan Xaplar, because where is Juwik gonna end up? Well, behind Richard Christie. That's one thing that we do know. He now comes across the line, moves up to 2nd place, and Xaplar's gonna come in behind as well. But it's mainly the battle between Juwik and Xaplar we're interested in, because in the end, it's not gonna matter much where they end up exactly. Frederick Tislane makes his way past as well. He's fallen back a lot of positions. Yeah, that just shows how weird it is, right? From your POV, you never really know where you're gonna end up. This man is leading for now. Into the grid turns you go. 7, 8, and 9, that is. Then you make your way over the hilltop over towards turn number 10. You can just see as well on the track how tricky it can be sometimes to avoid all those bumps in there. The track is quite worn. The track is used quite heavily by various racing classes. More Braxton with the drive-through penalty as well. Oh, that's tough. Because, well, you know, it's never good for your track, especially you'll see around the places where you turn in. I actually learned about this during the 6 hour of Abu Dhabi race that was. I was watching the Red Camel Jordans to support them, and they talked about... No, it wasn't Dubai then. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe it was turn 10 at Dubai. The 24 hours of Dubai then. Where they talked about what kind of happens when you brake before a turn. Because what you're gonna see is you're gonna kind of put even more pressure on the surface than you normally would when you brake, right? When you brake or when you accelerate, you put more pressure down. Especially when you brake, you can definitely feel it. So that's why a lot of tracks get bumpy, especially around the braking areas. And that's exactly where you don't want the track to be bumpy. Because that's where your car is most vulnerable to small mistakes. Xaplar, when are you boxing, my friend? I think he's gonna come in this lap. He has to, right? There's just no other way that he can do it. Norwegians close up to Frederick Tislane. Battle for P4 and wants to give it a go. Look at how wild he's swerving that car around. He wants to get past really badly, you can tell. But is it gonna be possible? Well, for now, the answer is no, unfortunately. Wilson doing okay for now. P12 it is. Basically bang in the middle. Considering there's a couple DNFs, we'll just ignore those and then I guess it makes sense. Well, now, sooner or later, Tupper's gonna come in, and I think it should be this lap. There's no time to complete another lap. So the pit window will close, so he has to come in, and unfortunately you can see the lead. He was enjoying it for quite a while. Indeed, he's now coming in, serving his mandatory pit stop. His strategy to serve it late might have worked out. He was in clean air for quite a while in the race, so that just means that you can up the pace a little bit here. And now, we're watching the drivers instead to pass. Richard Christie goes on to the lead, I believe the first time in this Grand Prix. Xaplar also overtaken by Bixby now, and Tislane will be next. Mumble Beats has made his way past Frederick Tislane as well. Both of God, hope I'm pronouncing that right. Where is he gonna end up once he gets out of the pit? It looks like P6 it will be for Alan Xaplar.
Pit window is now closed.
Pit window is now closed. Well, Spoiler has told me everything that I wanted to say. Everybody served the mandatory pit stops, so for now it's just a 5-minute sprint towards the end. It will be interesting. interesting battles still going on towards the end, though. We have Momo Beats versus Frederick T. Slane versus Shema Kowalski. Kowalski catching him quick. We have Stefan Wilson versus, I believe that is Ryan O'Sullivan. Indeed it is. Those are the main two battles we gotta focus our attention on. As for now, looks like Stefan slightly ahead. Wow, that's a quick turn there from Stefan Wilson. I think he timed that one really well with the braking. Is he getting any closer to the Ferrari of Ryan O'Sullivan? I think only slightly. A sharp right-hander and another left-hander coming in. And now he's lost a little bit of pace here, so the Ferrari coming loose. And then we see John Wilson as well making a small mistake, going off track. Lost a bit of pace there towards the end. Kowalski is a driver who's fought back to. Pressuring Frederick T. Slane. Come on, Frederick, you can do it. You know, I'm not supposed to be biased as a commentator, but, you know, I kind of want to in this race. I really hope that he can pull it off. It'd be pretty huge, I think. 3 minutes to go here. There's bullies yet to serve his drive-through as well. I think he already got it very late. He's very close to Richard Christie, and this will be the battle for the lead then. Tries to go side by side, but no space as of yet. Definitely wanted to. Bixby not yet able to get past, however. F. Bixby now behind a little bit more. This is going to be the final lap here. That's where we figure out if he can pass. We're just going to stay on board with them for a little bit longer. I mean, why not? Seems like an interesting battle going on, and actually one of the only battles on the grid right now. F. Bixby is leading the rest of the cars, but one of them he's not able to pass quite yet, and that's Richard Christie. Oh, and there's the touch. Oh, that's so awkward. Oh no. Not towards the end. Is he going to wait for him? I think he might. Oh no, that's awkward. And the other Ferrari also has to wait, and now he's letting him pass. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, that's a really awkward position now as well. Momo Beats makes his way past, and well, what an anticlimax this would be. Oh, he's just been hit towards the end. That's such a shame, really. Race is obviously officially over now, so everybody who's in the line can do one more lap, or is finished. It all depends if you're behind or ahead of Clive Bixby, at least if you only count it as this one lap. Will be Clive Bixby here while letting other drivers pass to towards the end.
Finished the race.
Momo Beats. Oh, he's going to wait for him. Okay, fair play to Clive Bixby. Momo Beats will win the race. Richard Christie coming in behind. And we see Jimmy Kowalski, Clive Bixby, Frederick T. Slane. Oliver Jewick in P6. Now it's Winner Exemplar in P7. And there is also Matthew Gamble. Slowly following right behind. And we have Romano coming in a very respectable P10. John Dudley to finish in P9. Welshman did a great job keeping it under control, and Italian following right behind. At least he waited. I very much respect that. He tried to wait earlier. It was a very goofy incident. That's only word of God for it. Ryan O'Sullivan finishes P11. Wilson right behind. Then we see Dan Pickles. It's going to be silent for a little while here. The number 7 car also coming in. James Franklin finishing a few laps down. 2 of them. Imagine these two still fighting towards the bitter end. Aaron Holloway as well as Joe Tomlin. Oh, imagine if that crash never happened towards the other. I feel so bad for him. At least he waited, which I very mumuch respect. Still might get a penalty on top of that too, which is going to make it even worse. Lots of drivers disconnecting already, but should still be P12 and 13 then. And please don't disconnect, lads. I still got the race to watch. But yeah, it's going to be Aaron Holloway to finish ahead of Joe Tomlin. Now it's just Jason Pooley coming in. As he lost driver as well. And as he come in, the race is officially over. Flashlights are out. Well, GG, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, apologies. I am still a little bit sick, so definitely not the most energy I've had during a race. But I hope you guys enjoyed regardless. I want to thank you guys all so much for watching. I hope that I can see you guys into the next one, which for me won't be next week because it's my birthday. But after that, I'll be back, hopefully able to stream for you guys some more times. See you guys on the next one. Let's play some music and end it all.